I just saw mixology finalist for the design practice.
That's right. Yes, that's
2024.
right. That's right. We've been nominated, which is fantastic.
Exciting.
I mean, it's fantastic to be nominated.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to be recognised.
Yeah.
You know, as a design practice. So you know, whether we win or lose doesn't actually really. It's great. It's fantastic, and it'll be a wonderful achievement. But for us, we get the sense of achievement of actually being recognised.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people seeing us out there, seeing what we're doing. We're pushing the boundaries of design. You know, we work really hard to make sure that the team not only is designing fantastic offices for our clients, but actually we practice what we preach in the messages that we're saying to our clients. You know, when we talk about looking after staff, understanding what people want, you know, bringing inclusive design, diversity, innovation, technology, all of those wonderful things that we all talk about, we research, we hear about all the time.
Yeah.
Is saying, well, we really believe in that. We don't just talk about it. We really believe in it. We bring it into our practice.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's reflected in what we do, and hopefully that's recognised by the wider world. And this, to us, is a little bit of a message back to us saying, well, we recognise, we can see what you're doing, which is great. So it's great to be there. Unfortunately, I'm not actually there on the day, which is
you're not?
Which is really unfortunate. My
no.
team are all going to be there, and it's going to be. I mean, I love Mix. It's a great event of the year. We all look forward to it in a design team, because we get 2 tables. We have the London group and the Southern group. We all come together, and it's just fantastic. If we win, extra celebrations, but we're going to celebrate on the night. Well, they're going to celebrate on my behalf anyway. So.
Yeah. I don't think there is a lose option, to be fair, Paul. I'm going to put that on the record, because I think you've been nominated, so straight away you are a winner of sorts. Yeah. Do you get me?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So I think you've been nominated. You've done something special. You stood out. Not everyone's nominated. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So hold your head up. What do you have to submit for that? Is it like your practice, what you're doing, your projects, that type of thing?
Yeah. So in a whole, they ask us why should we be nominated. So a lot of the things I just mentioned about the things that we're doing internally. So we write that down in a little statement as to why should we be nominated. Well, we believe in diversity, inclusivity. We really are pushing the boundaries with design trends, satisfaction with our clients. They measure us on how well we perform. As well, our clients do that as well. So we express that. And then what else are we doing? What are we doing for the future? Why are we a design practice to be recognised? All of those reasons. So that all goes across in a statement, and then you support that with maybe some images as well. Really, that's all they really ask for. I guess that they do a bit of investigative work themselves. And talk to people. So yes, we cross everything, and we hope it's successful.
And for yourself, you actually didn't you start off in architecture?
I did,
and then you moved over to DMB.
Yeah. So I guess, Guy, when I was studying, and we were coming to the end of the studies, and you seek advice from your lecturers, and you say, right, what should our next steps be? Because we do have options. We could go into residential design, commercial design, whatever. You could go into architecture, trad, design and build. And a lot of them advised us, go the architect route. So go to an architect's practice, etc. For whatever reason, for whether they thought at the time maybe it held more gravitas for the future, maybe it was a learning thing or whatever. So I did go down that route. I went down the architecture route, which was fantastic. Where I went to, it was in the regions. It was in a place called Hitchin in Hertfordshire, very close to where I lived, which is great.
Ideal.
Really ideal. It was a family-friendly practice, which I can appreciate now with my experience now, what that really means to be family friendly. I took it for granted at the time. I went in, everybody's very friendly, they really cared. The pace of work was really steady, which is great for me because I was learning. So I was able to ask people questions. They would spend time with me. I never felt like I was really hassling them out of their day. And the quality of work was a really high standard, incredibly thorough. you know, which was really good. So we really investigated and researched everything we did. You know, we spent time to understand the client. So the pace was great for me as a young man learning his trade. So I loved the architecture route. However, there's a flip side to that. So I was quite young. I just came out of university. I was full of creativity and enthusiasm and energy. And because the pace was quite steady.
I like that word.
Careful with my words there. It's very steady.
Well put.
Steady pace of work. I felt that I could give more. And I felt I wanted to push the boundaries a little bit harder and move a little bit faster. And I was there. I stayed there for 6 years. So I do felt like, you know, as I guess I would have been called a junior, and I moved myself up to maybe a middleweight while I was there. I felt like I needed to push myself again, you know, maybe move a little bit faster, push my creativity. I was in the regions, as I mentioned, and I thought, well, maybe I need to move to the big smoke. You know, everybody, especially myself, I really wanted to work in London, experience London lifestyle, and maybe be exposed to some of that creativity that maybe you may get in London, maybe that comes with the expenditure, that the sorts of clients that you'd meet in London as well. I mean, in the 6 years I was in my architect's practice, I think I covered 3 major projects, you know, in 6 years, which at the time I thought maybe that's the norm, but I soon learned as my career went over that actually you could do a lot more in a year, you know. And in fact, at some point in my career, I was covering something like 6 to 8 projects at any one time.
I was just going to say, you've probably got 600 happening right now, like this minute.
You know, so the pace is very different as well. So I did, you know, move on. I took the leap, and I took the leap out of architecture into design and build. Okay, which at the time I knew a little bit about, but didn't really fully understand. You know, what D&B was versus, you know, working for an architect practice. I learned very quickly, Guy.
It used to be a bit of a dirty word.
It did used to be a little bit of a dirty word. And working in an architect's practice as well, of course, I'd say that they weren't fully appreciative of the D&B style. And possibly they did look down on D&B. So actually the language sometimes, that's where I wasn't that great towards D&B. And whether that was valid or not in those days, you know, we are talking almost, you know, 26 years ago, 25, 26 years ago. Maybe to a point there were some companies that didn't do a lot of justice to that industry, to the D&B industry. You know, now I've seen that change dramatically, you know, in that period of time, which is why I'm still in this industry. And, you know, I think the industry now has something to be very proud of, you know, in design and build, when we talk about quality, care for the client, you know, just everything, creativity. I think the industry's massively progressed, and actually has a lot to be proud of. So a lot of those design and build companies out there, you only have to look at the quality of their work and the companies who they work with, the clients that they hold, which tells you the standard is incredibly high. Incredibly high now. And competing with some of the best architects as well.
Especially this year, everything's gone. The world's changing again, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's probably going to be a new word emerging.
Yeah, well, you know, I've coined a few words in my time, so I'm very careful with my words now, especially because, you know, some of the social media out there, you know, you're there forever once you coin these words. So yeah, but you're right. There is a fusion happening with the architect or consultancy world, A&D world, and the design and build world. Where we're getting closer to one another, you know, in our industry. So, you know, they're coming a little bit closer to us, we're coming a little bit closer to architecture. And sometimes we cross over, and actually sometimes we do work in partnership as well. So we work with a lot of architects as well, where they may take someone from stage 2 or stage 3, and we'll pick that up. But they will be guardians of that design, but also they're looking at us for our influences and our experience with that, bringing our pace and our, all of that fusion with their creativity and their quality and our quality, etc.